talk about today is a few different aspects. The first aspect is a general explanation of something. The subscribers and everything have blossomed, and we've got quite a lot of subscribers, quite a lot of new people. And I do get trends of questions that actually come through that people have asked me. The first of which is, I'm trying the grip, I'm trying the stance. The stance doesn't seem to be the hard bit for people. It's when it actually gets to the top of the throw. Getting the feet in the right position, more or less, seems to be easy enough. Getting the body, the thorax neutral, etc. seems to be easy enough. It's the top half of the body which people struggle with, and the reason for this is exactly what we've said on a million occasions. Somebody gives you a set of darts to throw, you just fling them at the board, and it's the top half of your body that does all the work. The bottom half of your body, obviously, you can be precariously balanced on one leg, or you can be leaning too far forward. You can be standing toe onto the hockey instead of having a solid stance. You can have a T stance, which is very unstable, etc., etc., which are quite easy to fix because you can still probably stand in the Dynamite Dave stance and use your own throw. Where people are having most difficulties, from what I can gather, is when it actually comes to the throwing and the release of the dart and the grip of the dart. Now, I've heard this, and it must be on more than 100 occasions now, over probably the last 2 to 3 months. And what people are doing is they're changing the grip. It's like I put the video out a couple of weeks ago now about the grip, and what they're doing is they're trying the grip, but they're having a go at it for 2 or 3 visits and then walking away from it because it doesn't work. I've said this on 1,001 occasions. Nothing good comes instantly. Nothing good comes without work. Now, everybody knows if you strangle an hammer and you try and hammer a nail in, you've got to hit a nail 10 to 20 times to knock that nail into the wall. Whereas if you hold the hammer properly on the handle and swing at it and trust yourself to hit it properly, when you do hit it properly, then the nail goes in 2 strikes. 2 strikes, 3 at the most. So all that wasted effort is all down to poor technique. A lot of people's darts performance and the poor performance is down to poor technique. It's not the fact that you can't throw a dart, it's the fact that you're not throwing a dart properly and you're not throwing a dart in an effective way. So basically, if let's go to something else like a cricket or a baseball analogy for our friends across the pond. Anywhere in the world, no matter what it is, if you're playing cricket, if you're playing rugby, if the most effective way to throw a ball is overarm to get distance on it, and you insist on throwing it underarm and then complain at the fact that you can't get that ball to the wicket quick enough or get that ball to your teammate quick enough, and somebody else comes in and steals it, or the cricketer who's running to the wicket gets to the wicket before your ball arrives at the wicket, you can't complain about that because you know in your own heart that it's poor technique. It's nothing to do with the fact that you can't throw overarm, because you can, of course you can. It's one of them my old mum used to say to me, there's no such word as can. The only phrase that you should ever use is won't or don't want to. So I suppose that's probably one of the facets of the way that I look at things and the way that I have the determination that I've got, as people know the surgery that I've gone through with my knee and what have you. I've always been all the way through it. I'm going to do it. I can do it. I'm going to do it. There's nothing's going to stop me from doing it. This is exactly what's going to happen. And this is what I'm going to make happen. So as we were saying, nothing comes easy. So if you're changing from an incorrect or a weak technique which causes inconsistencies and anomalies that are in your throw causing inconsistencies, the only way that you can improve that is by getting rid of them. It's like if you've got a car with a poor set of spark plugs. No matter how many times you take those spark plugs out and clean them and re-gap them, it doesn't matter. You can do it a million times and it will not improve the way that your car drives or the way that your car runs. The only way that you can improve that is by repairing it with a new one. And this is what the Dynamite Dave stance and address, the throwing action, the mechanical throw, all that, this is what I'm trying to give to you, is being able to repair your throw with a new one, and a new one that actually works. So basically going from a cheap pound shop set of spark plugs up to a top of the range NGK Bosch set of spark plugs that actually work and do the job properly and do it efficiently, and mean that your car or your game runs perfectly. And I've been doing it now for the best part of 4 years, and 4 years on, there's no question about it that it works. The amount of followers that I've got, and don't forget, for every subscriber that I've got, I've probably got 10 people that watch the videos that haven't subscribed and haven't clicked the notification bell. They just know where I am and they pop in at once a week or what have you to see if I've made a new video. You've probably got 10 or 12, depending on what type of YouTube channel or what you're actually doing, and we can see that on the amount of views on each video that I've got. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, some of them have got thousands and thousands of views. Only one of two ways that can happen. Either the same people are watching them over and over and over and over again, which is highly unlikely, or there's a lot of people out there that are watching the videos that are not actually subscribed. So it actually proves that the Dynamite Dave way works, and it proves that it's becoming more and more popular, which tells me that there's more and more people out there that are enjoying the game. There's more and more people out there that are becoming more competitive at the game. However it improves your game, if it improves your game a tiny bit and you only take one element out of it, like the stance or the address or the TikTok motion or the mechanical throw, if you take any of those elements and it improves your game in any way, shape or form, that should be telling you that if you take the other elements, even if you have to take them bit by bit, if you take those other elements, every single one of those elements, if you stick to it, will improve your game more. And if I can do it, you can do it. And all it's a matter of doing is, it's the same as learning to drive. If you learn to drive well, you will drive well for the rest of your life. If you become a better dart player now, you'll become a better dart player for life. It doesn't last for 5 minutes, it lasts for the rest of your life. So, giving the grip a go, having 2 or 3 visits with it and going, oh, it's garbage, it doesn't work for me. No, it won't work for you instantly, because your hand is moulded to the way that you throw your darts at the moment. Your legs, your hips, your upper body is moulded to the way that you stand at the hockey now. So when you go and stand at the hockey a different way, you cannot expect that to work with your first 3 hours. That's fantasy. It ain't going to happen. But if you persevere at it for 2 or 3 days, you'll start to see the results. With a lot of people, if they're here for coaching and one-to-one coaching, within 5 to 10 minutes, it's made a massive difference to them. But it still doesn't happen on the first 3 hours. It's still a matter of 5 or 6 visits before they actually get the arm going over the top and then actually start to see something positive from it. But obviously being here with me and me watching you and saying to you, well, do this, try this, and me encouraging you, it's totally different than you doing it on your own, either in your bedroom or trying it at the pub or whatever you do. Because obviously some people have dartboards, some people don't. So, the core message is, if you're going to give the Dynamite Dave throw, stance, address, everything, the full bang shoot a go, the best thing that you can do is, if you're a league player, it'll still work for you, but do it when you're on your break from your league. Obviously, if you're throwing now and you're throwing to a 50 or 60 average, that average is going to disappear altogether for the first 2 to 3 days, and then it's probably going to take a couple of months to build it back up again, to get to a point where you are throwing better than you ever did before. So whatever you do, give it a chance, but as I've said with everything, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in.
Right, so now we've had the Dynamite Dave telling it as it is, which is the only way that I do it, you know damn well it is. What we'll do now is we'll go over into section 3 and talk about something else completely different. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through all the different stages of getting yourself to throw those darts in a good, controlled and correct manner to start off with. So basically you're not just going to get a set of darts and start flinging them at the board. What you're going to do is you're going to have the proper instruction of how to throw those darts correctly right from day one. So what we'll do, so when you come to stand on the hockey for the first time, right, so this is my hockey on the floor here. As you can see, it's a carpet strip, a door threshold, and all I've done is I've bought a cheap runner off eBay. Basically a cracking thing to protect either your carpet or if you've got a wooden floor. So the first time whenever you come up to stand at the hockey, what you want to be doing is standing in the middle, right in the middle of the board. So basically, so the board, the centre of your body is in the middle of the board. I've got a mark on my hockey here, which you probably can't see from there, but you might be able to. There's a little white square in the middle of the hockey, and that is for when I've got people here that I'm coaching, so they know when they're in the middle of the hockey. What you do is you stand on the hockey, feet shoulder width apart, which is, for me, is about that wide apart. A lot of people think shoulder width is this far apart. It's not. It's basically with your legs just wide enough apart to sit underneath your armpits. So that's shoulder width apart. You're standing square onto the board, and then what you can do is you can turn that toe slightly in like that, which will make it easier when you first start to play darts to actually control where you're going on the board. So you've got your legs in the correct position, you're standing upright, looking at the board, and then all you need to do is just lean your weight onto this front foot. You're not lifting this foot up off the floor like you see. Whatever you do, don't do what they do on the telly. Don't start lifting your back foot up off the floor like this when you stood. Keep your 2 feet flat on the floor, flat solid on the floor, and all you do is transfer your weight slightly to your front foot. So that is the stance, the basic stance. To get that right, to look at it from this side at 90 degrees, this is what it should look like, imagining that the hockey's here. So you stood upright like this, and then all you're doing is just leaning slightly onto this leg just to plant that foot. You're not putting a load of weight on it, just a little bit of weight on it to make sure that that foot is planted and solid on the floor. Right, so what we're doing now is we're coming to the centre of the body here from the hips upward. I'm doing this right-handed, but I'm a left-handed player, just because a lot of people out there are right-handed. A lot more people are out there right-handed than they are left-handed. But what I'll do is I'll turn round and I'll show you it from a left-handed perspective as well. So you're standing on the hockey, and what you're doing is you're looking right up the centre of your body. So up the centre of your body should be right up the centre of the board. If you put your hand directly out in front of you, you should be able to go in like that, draw a line straight down from the double top to the double three, passing through the bullseye. And that is how you'll know that you're in the right place. You stand up nice and straight. When you're throwing, you keep everything still. Your head needs to be still, your body needs to be still. All there is in a really, really good throw, which is the Dynamite Dave one is 2 working parts. The rest of you stays still, absolutely still, and that is your elbow. So what you do is you raise your arm up so your elbow is at 90 degrees to the floor. You get hold of your dart in the grip that I'll explain shortly, and all it is just a backward and forward motion with your elbow and actually releasing the dart. You don't need to fling it at the board, you don't need to be going from over here. It's literally just straight over the top and putting the dart in the board where you want it to go. All you do is you look at where you want to go and you put the dart where you want it to go. And it's as simple as that. The Dynamite Dave throw is massively consistent, it's massively accurate once you've got the actual elements of it right and get used to throwing the dart in that way, because when you're moving around the board there's very little difference. The throw remains the same. All you're doing is just altering your body to go to different parts of the board. So for left-handers, same thing, we're stood with the shoulders width apart. We've got a centre of his body in the centre of the board. So as it comes up like that, centre of the board, and it's just elbow needs to be horizontal, not up here and not down here. It needs to be absolutely horizontal, and your forearm needs to be absolutely vertical. Now, even if you've never thrown darts before, this will take you a couple of days to get used to. Whatever you do, don't overdo it. Whatever you do, don't go and play darts for 2 hours the first day you ever play it, because you'll never want to play it again. Your elbow will hurt, your joints will hurt, your muscles will hurt, and I don't mean hurt a little bit, I mean they'll hurt a hell of a lot. So nice and steady, 5 to 10 minutes your first session, just 5 or 6 visits, something like that, 7 or 10 visits, and then walk away for an hour. Then come back and do it again, 5-10 minutes, and that's it for the day. Go away, sleep on it, come back the following day and build yourself up. The second day you might feel a lot better when you throw them. You might be very sore and you might only want to do 5-10 minutes again, an hour or two off, 5-10 minutes again, and sack it for the day. You might feel better about it, you might feel, alright, I'm alright, I can carry on for a bit longer. So if you feel like that, your second session, make it 10 to 15 minutes. Your first session, what you want to be doing is just throwing the darts towards the bull. So you're just coming over the top, just getting used to the feeling of actually releasing those darts, throwing them at the board. Just get used to that feeling. So all you want to be doing is just tossing them at the finger, So what you want to be doing is just tossing them at the bull's eye. Wherever your first dart lands, throw your second dart at it. So if it lands 2 inches below the bull's eye, try and throw your second dart exactly the same, so it lands next to your first one. Third dart exactly the same again, so it lands next to your first one again. So that is how you will develop your grouping. Developing your grouping is the be all and end all of this game. If you can get your grouping nice and tight, then you can learn to move it round the board. You will master the game of darts. If you're just throwing the darts all around the board at different places and allowing your grouping to be even an inch apart with your darts, even if your darts are an inch apart, inch and a half apart, you will only ever be able to be a player of the game. You will never be a master of the game. This is what darts is about. It's exactly the same as playing chess, drafts, any game of skill. Snooker, it's exactly the same. Anybody can play snooker, anybody can play pool. To become a snooker master, to become a pool master, to become a darts master, it's a totally different story. So, and as I say, throughout all my videos, you'll never get out what you're prepared to put in. So if you're prepared to put this little bit of leg work in when you first start playing, it will mean that you'll be able to play to a better level. So when you do decide to go out and start playing in the pub or in your youth club, because if you've got a youth club, you might even be able to do it at school. I don't know, some places, some schools do actually have dart clubs, some schools don't, because obviously they're sharp. You might even be able to persuade them to put a soft tip board up. Don't matter, either way, at least you're throwing darts, and that's all that matters, is getting that, building that knowledge of the game up, building that accuracy and consistency up. That's what it's all about. So if you can talk your school into it, talk your local pub into it, if you go to a conservative Labour club or something like that, Sometimes what they'll do is, if you got a club that you go to regularly or a pub that you go to regularly, what I would recommend you do is I do it, I bite the bullet, and what I do is I buy a decent board. Or what I'll do is I'll give them my old board when I put a new one up. So at least they've got some, when you go to the pub or you go to a youth club or somewhere like that, you've got something decent to chuck at. Because there's nothing worse in this world when you play darts than when you go to a club, a pub or anywhere else and they've got a dartboard that's come from the 70s. It looks like Thomas the Rottweiler's been chewing it and it's all falling to bits and the wires are falling off and what have you. There's nothing worse than trying to play on a board like that. So if you get into the game of darts and you start it nice and easily and properly like this, another video that comes along in 2 or 3 days time, and what we'll do is we'll take you to the next level with the throw. We'll go a little bit more in depth into it, we'll take some different angles and we'll do say a 2 or 3 stage of coming from nothing, basically never playing the darts before, or if you've at the moment got one of those throws and you want to get rid of that throw and you want to start doing the Dynamite Dave stance and you're prepared to, as we've mentioned earlier on in the video about putting the perseverance in and what have you and dedicating yourself to actually doing it and achieving it, then absolutely there'll be another video coming up in another few days time. They'll go on to the next levels of the basic throwing the darts, getting the darts to the board, your scoring, and then what we'll do is we'll go through some practice regimes. We'll go through some grouping regimes, different things where you can practice. So basically when you're doing your practice, when you're practicing, this will give you a good idea and a good basis of how to do your practicing, right from ground zero all the way up to being an absolutely top draw dart player. Right, so what we'll do now is we'll go over into the conclusion. So we'll have the conclusion, we'll have a little bit of a plug for the raffle, we'll show you what's on offer. Let's go over there right now, shall we? Right, lads and lasses, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you've found it interesting and entertaining, and hopefully you've learnt a little bit as well. Like I say, this is the conclusion. What I'm going to do is a little bit of a plug for the raffle after this, but I've had loads and loads of requests for something that I don't want to do in one way, but obviously if it's something that people want to see and want to watch, then that's fine. I did say that I was going to put it on a different channel. I have actually got a different channel, but it's got no videos on it or anything. But what I thought was, we'll try it this way, and if you don't like it, let me know, and then what I'll do is I'll put the videos onto a separate channel. So what I'm going to do is at the end of, not every video, but a few of the videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a live session with me. What I didn't want to do and what I never want to do is turn this channel into look how good Dynamite Dave is, because that's not what it's all about. This channel is about learning how to play darts, how to improve your darts and what have you. If you want to stick around to watch that, the one thing that I will say is it'll be more of a fly on the wall thing as I'm actually throwing the darts. A bit like some of the ones where you've seen where I play against the Android. But what I'll do is it'll be a mixture of that and like practice sessions, and you'll see me throwing for the different numbers and the way that I actually do it, the way that I've got myself to the place where I'm at now. You might find it interesting, you might not. Right, just a little bit of a follow on from the video, just before we disappear. I just want to say a massive thank you to a lovely bloke called Anthony Pergolesi. I hope that's the way you pronounce it, because I keep getting it wrong. He's a great mate of mine from over there in America. He sent me some stuff over, opened the box, and it's full of loads of goodies. It just that's really nice things, just really good, and you can tell that the things that are sentimental to him and things that mean something to him. He sent me a Q-Sol set of darts, which you've seen me throwing at the beginning of this episode. I only opened the box this morning, had to go to the post office and pick it up, and it's fantastic, really touching it is. So thanks very much, Anthony, and don't forget, mate, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And Anthony Pergolesi, to the hockey! As I said on the video, I'd let you into a Dynamite Dave session, practice session, so it's pretty much a fly on the wall thing, this. A little bit of a talk at the beginning, but hopefully what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit through it, so I'll give you an idea of what I'm trying to achieve, This is filmed totally live, so you're going to see all the misses, all the mistakes, all the warts and all, and how long it takes me to warm up and what have you. So let's start the warm up now. So let's have 4 or 5 visits warm up. Right, so let's get everything sorted out. Turn the screens away so we can't see them. Right, so we've had a bit of a warm up now. We've done as 20s, 19s, 18s, 17s, and we're getting to a bit more serious practicing now. We've just been loosening the arm up, did a little bit of a warm up to start off with. It's never sufficient, so all you're doing with your first 10 minutes of a proper session for me is just getting that arm nice and loose and flowy. So we've managed to do that now, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the old spectacles on, get a bit better vision of the dartboard, because that's what I've done. I've had these made so I'll get a better vision of the dartboard. Now what we're going to do is get down to some serious practicing. So I think what we're going to do first is doubling down, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start on my wrong side of the board, so making it a bit more challenging to start off with. So it's on the 16s, so what we're going to do is we're going to do 16s and 8s. Terrible. Oh, they're coming right out over my thumb. See that? Rolling off over the top of my thumb, so we know what's wrong there. What we're doing is we're allowing the thumb to come down. That's better. That's more like it. Chopped out my deflection. Oh dear, it's miles away. So were those two. Ooh. Right, so that gives me right, so now what we've done is we've done a couple of visits for the 16s. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play double down, what I call double down. It's just another thing that I like to play myself. So it's throw for 16s. If you get a double 16 with your first dart, that allows you 6 darts at double 8. If you hit double 8, in your first 3 darts, that allows you 6 darts at double 4. If you don't hit the double 8 or the double 4 in your 6 darts, if you've earned them, you go back to 16. So this is sort of like an incentive game. So basically, if you throw for double 16 and you miss it with your first 3 arrows, you start again. So you're back at 16s. Second visit, you hit the dart, you hit the double 16, sorry, with your second dart. That allows you 6 darts at double 8. So you've got 6 darts at double 8. If you hit double 8 in the 6 darts, you go to double 4 and you're allowed 6 darts at double 4. Then it's 6 darts at double 2 if you hit, 6 darts at double 1 if you hit it. Then you go back to 16s and you're allowed 3 darts. So you get 3 darts at 16, 3 darts at 8, 3 darts at 4, 2 and 1. And you can mix the game up however you like, but that's how I like to play it. And it seems to get you more and more focused and more accurate as you go along. So there, I've hit 16 with my third dart. So that now gives me 6 darts at double 8. Now I've hit double 8 with my second dart again, so that gives me 6 darts at double 4. Ooh, empty visit. Empty visit. Right, pressure's on a little bit now. Oh dear. Yes. So that now gives me 6 darts at double 2. And it took me 5 out of my 6 darts to hit the double 4. That's not good. Yes, second dart. So again, we're going to take the darts out. And again, this keeps you away from just pounding at the double 16 or pounding at the double 8, because you're working it all the way around. So I've now got 6 darts for double 1. Double 1, very traditional way of doing this. 1 over, but throwing it at the outside wire. But if you get 1 over, you've got a good marker then. Ooh. Yeah, 1 arrow. Boom. Right, so we can take that out and we can start again if we wish. So we can now go back to 16s, or we can change to something else. What I tend to do is I tend to go to different places. So now what we'll do is it's only 10s and 5s, which is your split here. So you've got 6 darts at 10s, 6 darts at 5s, and then you can go on to 18, 9, then you've got a split. But you can work it whichever way you want, and you can even include the bullseye in it and stuff like that if you wish to. And trebles, that's another one you can include into it. So, second dart, corner should be cockier. Oh, it's on the wire. Right, so as you can see there, I did it a slightly different way than what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be giving myself 6 arrows for the next ones that I'd done with the 16s and 8s. But I ended up doing it the cocky way, which is more of my sort of level. If you hit the double 10, you've got an option to go for the double 5, but you've got to do it in the 3 arrows, or you've got to start again. just a little bit more advanced. So what we'll do now is we've done that, so what we'll do is we'll go on to something else, because as I've told you, variety is the spice of life. So what we'll do now is we'll have a game around the board. Right, so going around the board, you can use the doubles. So we've gone for double, and we've hit double 4 there. It took us 3 hours to do it, but it saved us just walking round, hopefully. So now we've got double 9. We've got on the inside double 10. Yeah, right, that means we're back now on his first double. Because it's all the way around, 2 10s are 20, so now we're on double. My first double was double 4, so it's either 2 double 4s or double 4 treble 4 bull. One, two. That's the 2 double 4s, so now I'm on bullseye. Right, so hopefully we'll finish the game off in this 3. So when you're on bullseye, you can have 2 outers, so 2 of the greens, or a red. In this game, which is the lower level game. Bang, 1 dart. Right, so that's round the board. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go and have a little bit of a break. As I've told you, when you're doing your practice sessions, always do a bit and then go and have a brew or a break. So we're going to go and have a break now, and we'll resume later.